Hello and welcome to another edition of Leaders Being Heard. I'm back. so to, so today
Welcome back.
so today with me is Christina and Andra, and today we have I would say an interesting discussion around uh, how do BA communicate or work together with quality assurance engineers. So for those who are new to our video podcast, we usually deal in this series with different aspects of the BAs, business analysts, but not limited to that, and their relations to other with other colleagues, right? With other
Stakeholders.
roles. Thank you. So today we are dealing with this one, right? We are dealing with how quality assurance engineers and business analysts work together. And Christina, why is so important this relation? Why is for us? Let's frame it like this.
Yeah. It is important because of two things. One, the product needs to be checked. I mean, everybody is a dreamer until we get to the QA. Everybody thinks they've done a great job until we reach that stage, and there we have this is the final step. And usually when we are in the final step of development, there you see, did we do a good job or not? So from this perspective, from another perspective is that QAs are part of the team. So it is equally important to have a good relationship between BAs and software developers or software engineers, and also to have a very good relationship between BAs and QAs. It's not like if they close the line, it may appear that the BA does not have a direct relationship to the K, but no, they need to work together, they learn together. It's just they look at the product from different angles. Yeah, it's super important.
So one can say this is more or less a love triangle, right? Developers, analysts, and testers. It's a love triangle there. Love and hate triangle.
Sometimes hate, yes. But
so looking at the quality assurance engineer, right? You mentioned, right? They make sure that the product meets the quality gate, more or less, right? It's ready to be used, right? And how is this done in your experience? How a QA operates within this? Also in relation to from the business analysis perspective, but also we can also add from the software engineering perspective, right? From the software engineer perspective. So let's see, what do you?
So yeah, we will just speak about this perspective, a relationship between the roles, because yeah, they know best how to do their job. But from a BA perspective, I think how I see things, QAs are firstly responsible to make sure that what was expected to be implemented, it is implemented, right? And this is like you are inside of the box, you have the inputs, and you have to check that the expectations are met. But another dimension is that they need to work or think outside of the box, meaning that once they got the intention, once they understood the idea and what was requested there, then they have to put it into the outer context and check, um, does it still stand? How can I be creative to see if what was implemented now doesn't break something outside? And I have this saying, they need to try to break the toy. If the toy breaks, then they did a good job, and the others maybe need to review the process what happens before them. If they can't break the toy and we don't have bugs in production, then it's fine.
Right. And so what I get is basically they need to in a way they need to understand the product as was required, but also how was implemented, and then in a way to think outside the box and find new ways to, as you put it, to break the toy, right? And what happens when they break the toy, right? Because I mean, I would assert as a developer, as an analyst, right? You are not happy with a broken toy, right? So if I'm a 5-year and you break my toy, then well, I hate you.
Yeah. I think here we end up like, yeah, indeed. So it's my work. So I wrote some specs, right? And I did my best. And then it's proven that, for example, me as a BA, I have bugs, yeah, in my logic, right? Or I haven't written enough in enough detail to to surface a lot of corner cases.
Mhm.
And if they find bugs into my thinking, into my logic, um, I think it's a matter of responsibility to accept that. Yeah, let's review. Let me hear what you have to say, and I have to listen, and to acknowledge, yes, you're right, or yes, you're right, but it's not in this phase. Let me write it for later. Or depending on my, I don't know, my how I put this feedback, I may take it personally, you know.
Mhm.
And
That's juicy. Let's dig into that.
um, yeah, it's interesting. For example, depending on how the QAs would tell you this, or I don't know. I guess everyone has their triggers, but it's important when they find something that doesn't ring the bell for them, or they find something that it's not okay. I think it's very important for the BA to listen. I met people who say, but I wrote the specs, they are very good. Just try to follow them. And whatever it's, I mean, they don't quite listen, or there is one more. I heard BAs who say they didn't read the requirements, so they just weren't paying attention, and that's why they ask these questions. But then I come back, how do we as BAs share our information so that it lands good on their side? And I don't know, Andre, if you have any insights. So this is a lot of effort put into. I've done
It's
my part as a BA. It's there. Let them read. I
yeah.
have other something else to do.
Mhm. It's first is that as you said, it's how they say it, and it's not only that, it may land. It's like you are being attacked. It can occur like, oh my God, I'm being attacked. I need to defend and protect myself. And when you say they have not read the requirements, that is protecting. Definitely. It's like, I'm here, I'm defending what I did. Yes, my image is at risk as a BA. My effectiveness in my role is at risk when somebody comes and shows something that I have not done. Yeah, it's the fight or flight. I'm under attack, so I protect. And it might take a minute, it might take a few days, it might destroy the relationship with that QA if they come and they say, look, yeah. So it's again about communication. Yeah. So this is and it's, as you said, it's about being responsible. You need to get yourself out of the picture. It's not about you, not about me, Andra, as a BA, how good I am. Yeah. It's about, let's make this work, and how you shift from that to that. Even if somebody comes and said, hey, you have not done it, you can shift okay, I have not, let's look. Yeah. And it's how you can shift, and then it changes. Yeah. And it's, let's work together and see what's missing. Let's add it. It's fine. And then we can look next time. What was missing this time? What can we do next time? But it's that is the human part that, oh, I'm at risk as a human being. I'm at risk and I need to defend or protect.
Mhm.
And it's not about who's right. It's about let's make it work as a team.
So,
yeah.
So you broke my toy, right? So now you're coming to me and say you did a shitty job. Pardon my language. So now, what is, I mean, if somebody comes to you and says you did a terrible job, right?
Mhm.
This is more or less some personal attack, right?
Yeah, and you can
In a
agree
way.
or you can disagree with it.
And it's a way to go to actually get in conflict, right? To get defensive. So how would be a good approach to criticize or to provide some feedback in the end, right? This is something that is it's out there, right? So the tester finds something, right? The quality assurance finds something, and then provides this information, this feedback back, right? So it's also for how do you take it? We mentioned here, but what are other tricks, right? To empower this relation. Let's put it like this.
So there is something, and then I will leave you, Christina, is to look at, like somebody comes to you and you said you did a shitty job, as you said. And now how it's look at your intention when you reply as a VA. Do you want to convince the other person that you have not done a shitty job? Or do you want to move the project forward? Do you want to resolve the problem? Because if these two intentions are going in different directions. So it's pay attention. If you want to convince that person, you might not make it, because if they are set that you have not done your job, you can show them whatever you show them. Yeah. So the idea is, let's make it work. Why do you see that? Okay, I've done a shitty job. Let's, yeah.
Let's not use this word anymore. That doesn't sound very all right.
It's fine.
See, you already take it personally.
Yes, of course.
It's an interpretation.
Yes. So, Christina, how about you?
Yeah, I was trying to so whatever wording the other person would use, I think what Andra highlighted is super important. On what do I focus? Like, do I hear myself threatened? Do I hear myself as being judged? Is this the most important? Or I need to see what are you trying actually to say? Because there might be that, we discover the QA didn't understand, and that's fine, it's human. I mean, or it might be that it's something missing from the specs, right? But how do I find out if I stay in conflict? And if I try just to say, I've done my and I'm trying to use arguments to prove that you're wrong, and without getting me out of the context, out of the attack, let's say. And here I just want to move a little bit further in how do I, as a BA, make sure that I first create a good relationship where people can tell me what they think. Yeah. And it's safe for them to come to me with some limits, of course. I mean, it may be that I did my best. I do, but maybe it's something that we need to both do something. Okay, it can be equally. I mean, it's not only on me, it can be on the QA side. But how can I end up in that situation when we work on this? Maybe I do something, the QA does something else. And I want to get to this, how my work lands on the team. How do I make myself understood to the QA, right? Because I don't know, maybe software engineers have one way to take it and to understand it, and the QAs may come from a different perspective and they understand, I don't know, something else. And it's I don't know. I would ask Andra an opinion. How much should I focus on how my work lands, and what is the limit?
It's it's something that you said around how do I actually allow them to come to me? Yes, is to have that space for them to come and ask you questions. This is it's for you to look what is the relationship that I want to create with them. I want them to come to me. And if you like reject them, they will see you, oh, I'm not going to that person, they will send me back. So it's how open you are, and in communication, and it's not possible to answer all the time. I go back and each life I say the same. Be in communication and say, now I'm not available, but I'm happy to talk about it tomorrow or later on. Is to give them the space to come back to you. And when you say limit, first is one idea is boundaries, like they cannot come to you, as you said, and allow everybody to talk that way. And is to say, okay, this doesn't work, that you speak that way, let's make it productive. And then you said something about limits. Where do you say, I've done my job and I'm not helping you? That was the question?
Something like that. Like it's the same, like I wrote everything in the story, or the details are in that Excel file. You know, I mean, go there and read, and only after that come to me. But usually when people come to you and they ask, even if you know they wrote, I mean, if I know that I wrote there, if they come, I need to know why haven't they read, and if they didn't read, if they didn't open that Excel file.
Okay.
What's wrong with that? I mean, how do we solve this?
So in that moment, for that situation, it already happened. You cannot resolve it, but you can resolve it for the future. You can, like, you have a thought and you say, they have not read this. Okay. Let's look together and see what was missing. You can show them, yes. And then you can say, next time, can you read this? Or have you done it and can you do it next time? Like, can you come to me after you went through all of it? But if you start with, you have not read that, it might land as you're accusing them.
So what I get is more or less, it's in order not to get in conflict or to end up in a situation where one blames the others, right? Because the QA might say, well, the requirements or the analysis was not good, so you are doing a terrible job, right? So in order not to end up in such a point, it's what I got out of this conversation is basically to build up the relation, right? To build up the trust between the BAs, testers, between the testers and the engineers, as well as the BA. So this love triangle needs to be built up with trust, right? This is what I got in a way. And it also as I got it, it's not something that you build up in one day. It's built up with in time, right? So you might have some hiccups in a way that sometimes perhaps maybe the analyst or the developer doesn't read whatever they supposed to read, or the same for the BA. Perhaps the BA didn't read something or didn't understood something. So it's also the flexibility to allow failure in a way, right? And but this is also to build up the trust. So in a way, is creating the others as professionals, right? As people that are intentional, right? That they want to succeed in this. And this is a question for you, Andra. How do you build such a relation, a trustworthy relation in communication, right? So
is first is great what you said. It's to allow failure. Failure is an interpretation, but to allow yourself, like it might be that you have not read something, and it's not to go, I need to be the perfect BA or the perfect QA. it's okay. I'm playing with a lot of stuff. I have a lot of plates. Okay. So I might have missed something, and to be okay with yourself. This is where the ownership comes, when you allow yourself to miss stuff. Okay. So this is around failure. We are humans. We are not perfect. And then the question is, how do you build that trust? It comes with knowing yourself. As I said, if you allow yourself to fail, and how you respond to that instead of you react to it. You start defending, protecting, versus, okay, let's make it work. And this is how it takes time, and it's important how they see you and how you see them. And how they see you is the way you are in communication, how open you are, how curious you are about their perspective. Yes, and how it comes with a lot of questions. And sometimes it doesn't work to be that way because you're stressed, you have a lot on, and you don't have the time to do that. And it's just to communicate that. Look, I'm tired today and I'm all over the place, or whatever, to allow yourself that because you want to look good. Yeah, but it's just to communicate what's going on also with you. I have many things to deal and I cannot help you today. How can we make it work?
And also, perhaps I'm asking is like, when we say communication here, we are referring to communication one-to-one, right? Direct communication, not email, not SMS or things like this, right? It's face-to-face, preferably, right? It's where you can see and have a conversation rather than an email saying, oh, whatever. Is this what you mean by communication being communication?
Yes, like if you talk to somebody online or face-to-face in person, is to tell them even like, well, look, I only have 5 minutes. What can we do in 5 minutes? This is in the face-to-face. And then via email, you can still write in to say, I would love to help you. I cannot do it today. But yeah, I was pointing to the face-to-face.
Right. So what else is to be said about the relation? So we look at how mainly the QA and the BA interact, and we look mostly of the part where the issue might arise, right? Where the gap in communication might appear. But is it something else so once the product is in production, right? You have like a bug in production. How do you deal with that problem? Because this is usually depends on this one, but might be critical, might be a lot of people might be stressed. The boss, the people in charge might come and say, well, who did this? Because the stress is there. So there is a lot, this tension leads to conflict in a way, right? So I just want to cover this quickly, and then we can conclude our meeting. So what do you see there?
What I can see, first, maybe the tendency is to say the QA didn't test enough. So when we have a bug, it means that they haven't tested enough. But just saying so, I think, is just a way for the others from the team to say, not my job. Yeah, I mean, it was not my job to test. On the other hand, I think everybody has the contribution. I mean, may have contributed. And I think we should all ask ourselves, could I have done something that would have prevented for this bug to appear? For example, me as a BA, have I surfaced that corner case in somehow in the documentation, the specs, in the demo, in the wherever, to prevent from this being present? And I guess it's the same for the software developer, right? I mean, could I have sensed that? Was there an else that I haven't handled, or I don't know, something that? So it's not only on the QAs. although it may seem in the first hand that it's their role to find the bugs, but I truly defend this. Like I would give it to the team, and I would look back and invite everyone to say, okay, how can I as a person contribute to make less and less let less and less bugs be there. And I think here I come back to the out of the box thinking, which I wouldn't ask only from the QAs to have it, but I would ask also from the software developers to have it. So to not focus only on the acceptance criteria, but put it into perspective. And of course, also on the BAs. It might be the BA would focus only on a small, tiny thingy. And this is very clear. It's smart, defined, it's measurable, it's clear, small, whatever. And then you introduce that change, and there is something else down the line that breaks heavily. So I would.
So I get it that is mostly is when it's something is like not pointing the finger in a way, right? It's the team fault in a way, right? It's more or less. What do you say, Andra? What would you?
It's so out of what Christina said, it's this when there is a bug in production, it's the perfect opportunity for the team to break. Yeah, we are not a team anymore. It's about the role. Yeah, and it's how to stay as a team in this. It's part of what Christina said. And when it's hot, it's not the focus is let's solve this, not who's to blame. Let's solve it. And once it's calmed down, we can look as a team. Like, let's look in our process together. What is that we could do different next time? Where does it break? Like, can we do something on that part? And here, all the team can come together and to look, okay, what was my part? What can we bring next time for a situation like this? But it's like a retrospective or lesson learned or whatever you want to say. Let's gather together. It's not about whose fault it is. Let's look at how can we prevent from happening next time. Not while it's hot, but while it's hot, let's just resolve this. Afterwards, we can look, okay, what can we do next time?
Super. So in this positive spirit, we are concluding our video podcast today. So today we had to just summarize a bit. Today we had this conversation about the relation between the BAs and the quality assurance engineers. As you've seen out of this conversation, it's a topic that is present in our lives. It's a topic of interest, so it's not just some random YouTube video. It's our thoughts and our experience. we have some blood in it, I would put it. So let us know how you deal with this such of relations in your work, in your day-to-day job. So thank you for joining us today. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. And thank you, Christina, and thank you, Andra, for wonderful thoughts today. So thank you, and see you next week.
Thank you.
Thank you.